Can you tell me what this is? What is that a shape of? I'll give you a hint. It's a county.
Is it Bear County?
It is Bear County.
Is it a state or are we looking at a county?
It's a county.
Yeah, see,
It makes it more difficult, right?
it does make it more difficult.
Can you tell me where Bear County is?
Oh, okay.
Because San Antonio is like,
Yeah, it's
over here-ish.
okay. Okay. Here?
Very close. Could you show me where the Edwards Plateau is?
Edwards Plateau. I believe the Edwards Plateau is right up in here. Or no. I'm sorry. So Curville area, correct?
That's right. You nailed it. Yeah, you got it. Second try. That's perfect.
All right.
Can you show me where Frio County is on this map?
No, I cannot.
Can you show me on this map where Frio County is?
So
If I were to ask you where the Texas Hill Country is, could you show me here on the map?
Like, let's see, like over here.
Yeah.
That's where our
Yeah, that's right.
So not everyone knows geography as well as us meteorologists do, and that's okay. We're kind of weird like that. True story, when I was a kid, I read the entire atlas and once memorized every country and its capital. But for those of you who don't have that much time on your hands, we thought we'd touch on some of the more important geographical and geological features that South Texas has to offer. And the feature we thought we'd start with is the most important of all, the Balcones Escarpment. The escarpment, or at least the edge of the escarpment, which I'm standing on now here at Government Canyon State Natural Area, is part of a fault zone that runs through northwestern Bexar County. It more or less splits our viewing area in half. To the north, we have the higher elevation in the hill country. To the south, we have the coastal plains. And this feature really explains a lot about why South Texas is the way it is.
So this is a major uplift that happened about 25 to 24 million years ago, where we actually had a big chunk of central Texas lifted up about 1,500 feet.
The boundary of the escarpment is U-shaped, featuring porous limestone formed by an ancient ocean. It's a boundary that helped create the aquifer and subsequently prolific springs.
Without the springs, you would not have San Antonio.
See, I told you the escarpment was important. The sudden rise in elevation around 1,500 feet in Bexar County alone also makes a difference when it comes to weather. We'll discuss that in a bit. But it's also why the hill country exists. Speaking of, what is the hill country? And how is it different from the Edwards Plateau that you hear us mention so often in weather?
The hill country is just part of the Edwards Plateau. It's sort of the eastern edge of that plateau. And it really encompasses that edge plus the Balcones Escarpment coming down into San Antonio.
Which brings us to I-35. It's a major, important interstate. Notice how it seems to line up with the edge of the Balcones Escarpment.
The I-35 corridor is actually just on the eastern side of the Edwards Plateau. So instead of building up and over the plateau, they just went around it.
That, and going back to the importance of those springs along the escarpment, major cities formed right along its edge, where the water was, and the interstate connects them. And since I-35 serves as a visual boundary of the edge of the escarpment, we often use it in weather to feature our different climate zones. You'll hear us say things like, those east of I-35 have the best chances for storms. Along those same lines, Highway 90, which runs west to east, is useful too. This geography puts us at a unique crossroads.
San Antonio is at the point of three different major ecoregions. The South Texas thornbrush, which basically starts in San Antonio and goes south to the valley.
That's more or less an extension of the Chihuahuan Desert, which creeps in from the west. Think hot and dry.
And then we have the hill country, which goes from west of town towards Kerrville, Sonora.
It's the elevated portion of our viewing area we mentioned earlier.
And then we have the plains, the central prairie.
That's the flatter part of south central Texas, closest to the coast. It features higher humidity, more rain, and more vegetation.
So you drive any direction and you've got a different scene.
So with all that in mind, let's do some myth busting, fact or fiction, when it comes to geography and what it means for our weather. Yes, clouds do bank up against the escarpment, occasionally making it cloudy in San Antonio, but sunny in the hill country. It can also sometimes help to develop showers. No, there's not a dome over San Antonio. Any sort of heat island effect has no bearing on storms moving through or avoiding the city, despite recent claims. Yes, those east of I-35 often have better chances of rain because they're closer to the Gulf of Mexico and therefore have better, deeper moisture. No, valleys and terrain have little to no impact on tornadoes. They develop and move as they please. Yes, the Serranías del Burro Mountains west of Del Rio in Mexico do have an effect on our weather, mostly when it comes to helping give lift to big storms in the summer that cross into Texas. No, there's no one favorite area in San Antonio that gets hail over the other. However, yes, geography does play a role in winter weather, with northern Bexar County, especially north of 1604, having a much better shot at seeing wintry weather than those in southern Bexar County. And this is why being a meteorologist in South Texas is so fun. Lastly, let's talk about counties. These boundaries are more political than they are geographical, but useful when we're describing where a thunderstorm is located. It's always a good idea to know where your county is located on a map. We use them a lot in weather, especially when it comes to warnings.
And that's South Texas geography in a nutshell. And it's why reading an atlas isn't quite as boring as you might think. For KSAT Explains, I'm meteorologist Justin Horn.
Keep up to date with all of San Antonio's top news, weather, and so much more by clicking the like and subscribe buttons below. And once again, thanks for watching KSAT.